Chapter 31, Servicing Air Brake Systems, Day 1, Video 6, Timing Imbalances. So we're talking about a balance test of the air brake system. Keep in mind that it is an open system, so when we are not using the service brakes, the air in the valves and the air in the lines is exhausted out to atmosphere, so those lines are empty. So when we make a service brake application, we have to fill those lines with air, fill the valves with air, fill the lines out to our brake chambers, and then fill the brake chambers with air before the brakes start to happen. So there is a timing that has to happen between the brakes so that all the brakes, ideally, we want to apply at the same time. So if we have the system is balanced, all the brakes operate at the same time or as close to the same time as possible, that would be a balanced system. If we have an imbalance, right, the drive axles apply before the steer axles, okay, we'd have a brake imbalance, or just the opposite, the steer axles brakes apply before the drive axles, again, an imbalance, or right to left side. So we want to make sure that all of those apply relatively simultaneously. If we have a lot of imbalance, significant imbalance, we have that one axle doing, or that one brake in doing a majority of the braking. So that could cause brake fade, right? We overheat the brakes, lots of wear happening there, pulling to the right or the left, and then an extreme case where the brakes get so hot that they catch on fire. That would be caused by brake imbalance. So just due to normal the design of the system, some of those brakes are going to receive air faster than others, right? Just because of the distance they are from the um, the modulator valve, or the brake application valve. It's going to get its signal a little bit later. So the engineers, when they are building the system, take all that into account. So we have very specific brake valves, relay valves that they use. So to either delay brake application, or speed up brake application, so that again that they all apply at the same time. So one of the ways to do that is with the relay valves. They have different crack pressure or opening pressure. So that valve will begin to open with, say, like 5 pounds of pressure. Then when the operator pushes down on the brake pedal, 5 pounds of air flows through and goes out to that relay valve. It's not going to start opening until it sees at least 5 pounds of pressure. Then it begins to open. So that will delay that brake application. So we may use that to help to improve the brake timing by delaying some valves from opening, right? So different crack pressures of those relay valves throughout the tractor and then throughout the trailer system, um, as needed to help apply all those to apply at the same time. So we can have one with 5 pounds of crack pressure, one behind it has got 4 pounds of crack pressure, 3, 2, and 1. The further we get away from the tractor onto the trailer, so that again all those brakes hopefully operate at the same time. Because the further we get away from the tractor, it takes time to fill those airlines and then start those brakes to apply. So that's why we'll have different pressures that allow those valves to open. Ideally, what we want to do is, again, synchronize all those together so they all apply at the same time. So when we are replacing brake valves, we need to make sure that we take that into account, that we're using the proper valve that has the proper crack pressure, so that the brakes will still operate as they are supposed to at the right time. There's a lot of different valves to choose from. They've got a tag on the brake valve that a lot of times will tell you it's a 4 psi or 3 psi brake valve. Going along with that, for the timing and everything too, is if we replace fittings, If we replace we've got a broken fitting or a stripped out fitting that's a 90-degree fitting, we want to make sure that we replace it with the exact same 90-degree fitting that came off of there, because that also helps uh, the brake application time going through that 90-degree fitting. If we were to replace that with a straight fitting, because we just didn't have a 90-degree fitting, the air will flow through that fitting a lot faster, and then will affect the balance of the air going out to that wheel end.